Hello, hi, and welcome to today's video. I know it is Tuesday and I'm pretty late with TIA Tuesday, but I wanted to do something more special, something actually for me a little bit, but also for you. There's nothing to really learn today, let's put it that way. I have been working a lot on my tool, and you've seen it if you watched my live streams. You have seen my tool here, which is called right now Automation Playground or Factory Sim or whatever. I don't even have a name for it. And I want to put that out there and actually have a version on some PCs. You can test it now. It's an early alpha. It is a very, very early version, so there's a lot of things that are missing. There's so many things that do not work, but it is a version where you have already a lot of things running. If you see this, my TIA portal is right now hooked up to it, and I have prepared a system for you that has in total 27 signals. 27 signals, so a lot of push buttons, a lot of cylinders, a belt, LEDs, stuff like this. I have prepared that, and I will show you now how you can access it, how you can connect TIA Portal to it, and then you can test and play around with it a little bit. Because most of us are, or not most, yeah, most of us nowadays are, or these days, are stuck at home, and there's need to do something, and you can play around with this. It's quite fun, if you ask me, to just play around with it. Therefore, I will show you how to download the software and how to work with it in the next 10 minutes, maybe 15. So here we go. Just to what to do in this. This is the most important thing. I have created such a system here. You can see it's just a conveyor system. It has push buttons, it has sensors back there, and it has 3 cylinders connected to it. If I click on the box here, a box spawns. All of this is completely connected right now to TIA Portal. If I go into my TIA Portal here, I can see, if I press a button, you see one signal coming true and false. Do you see it? This signal, belt push button 02, normally closed. Right? It is input 0.1. If I take this one, it's input 00. If I take this one, it is down there somewhere. It is, I don't know what it even is. There's so many signals now. It's input 1.0. So you have a link from the simulation into TIA Portal, right? So that's pretty cool. And also from TIA Portal to the tool. So you see the box right now. I have an output 01, that is belt motor forward. If I turn that on, right, in my TIA Portal here, you see that the box starts traveling. This is controlled by TIA. I could create a program and control the belt with it, but right now I'm just using a tag table. You can, of course, create a program, sure, pretty easy. Like, you can create any program now for this. I can control the LEDs. You can see the LEDs come on, green ones, red ones, connected to IOs. And of course, I can also extend the cylinders. There's one output for each cylinder that extends it. Extend cylinder here, extend cylinder there. And now the box is pretty much stuck in between here because it cannot go, it cannot pass the cylinders anymore, right? Yeah. So you can play around with the system. It comes close to a real system. Of course, it's not. It's just a simulation of a system. How can you work with this? Right now, it is actually pretty simple. It's actually pretty simple to work with this, but you need some steps. First of all, of course, you somehow need that software. You somehow need this software, and you can find it on the internet. I have put a link in the description below, and that link will lead you to a website I've created. A website I have created, and there we have, just by the way, we have a forum. So if you have questions or so, try using that forum, and there's categories and you can open threads, and it's a standard forum. There's no entries because no one has been using it so far, not even me. And then there is this thing here called Factory Simulator. If you click on Factory Simulator, there is a download button. If you hit that download button, you will be redirected to my OneDrive and the download will automatically start. It is a 233 megabyte big, so it's not too big, the download. After unzipping it, that's just the zip archive. And now if I go to my download folder, you see there is just this one thing. I have WinRAR installed, so I can just double click and it will open. My test version, of course, has run out. And there's those files. I can unzip that now to any folder that I want and run it. I can also just right click and unzip here. Unzip here. And there we go. Got the folder. Got the factory simulator. There is one executable in there, and that executable has somehow my face on it. So if you double click, factory simulator is going to start, and I've made it in Unity, as you can see. So that's exactly the version I'm showing right now. So got it. That's how you get the software, right? That's how you get it. That's how you download it. So how do you work with it? How do you connect here a portal? So there we go. You download it. We don't need this website anymore right now. So I have it here on my desktop, the factory sim. Right. You just open Factory Simulator, and there we have it. There is like a guide that leads you through to make it run. If you go to level selection, you have basic controls. And then there's a board showing you, hey, those are the basic controls. Use mouse to look around, press tab to open, and so on. You can just use your mouse. Oh, there's a light switch. I hit the light switch. Oh, light cam on here. I have to move. WASD is moving, or the key, or your buttons here, the arrow keys. Arrow keys, I think, in English. I can collect things. I can also jump if I want to. So there's a short explanation how to do it. But if you hit escape, escape will return you always to this screen, right? So when I'm in the middle of something, so let's take another room here in the middle of PLC commissioning. If I hit escape, I'm going back to the screen. Also in the playground, when I'm here, going back to the screen. So there's some levels. This one here that says repair, I still have to repair. I broke it and it's still in repair. And there's conveyor system and bending system. Those also do not work. I have also a little factory tour here. So I've built a little small factory for you to walk around just to have a little bit of fun. So one of those things, or all of these lead you to addressing, lead you to communication somehow. To connect your PLC to the tool, you can go here to settings and put in the data of your PLC that you want to communicate with. This right now is the first part. This is if you have a real physical PLC. So I have a physical PLC connected to my PC right now. This PLC is an S7-1500. I can just select S7-1500 from the dropdown. It has an IP address, right? The IP address that I have given it in TIA Portal. I can go here to my device configuration and I can see, hey, this PLC has an IP address. And this IP address is 192.168.0.101. That is exactly what I put in here. So it is 192.168.0.101. Right? Now, I wanted to change that. I haven't. If you have a 1500 or a 1200, so 1200 and 1500, you have to type in the IP address and you have to type in a rack and a slot. For 1500 and 1200, because that's how the bus system works, the rack is always 0, the slot is always 1. That's how the 1500 and 1200 work. You don't basically need it, but you need to put it in here for the communication. Then you hit save. And if everything is fine and your PLC is connected, you can ping the PLC and it says connection OK. If connection OK appears, you can communicate, you can program your PLC, you can work with the tool perfectly fine. If you have done something wrong, for example, a different IP address, so my PLC does not have the 102, I need to hit save always. And if I now ping the PLC, the tool tries, you can see I'm not doing anything and it's still active there. The tool tries to connect to the PLC right now. Connecting. This will take some time. Then we will have a timeout. So it hasn't crashed. It's right now trying to connect. It can't find it. And at some point it will say no connection, check the parameters, check the connection. Oh, I check my parameters here. I see, oh, this is wrong, 101. I save, I ping the PLC, perfectly fine. So with a physical PLC, pretty easy. Now I can go to my playground here. And in the playground, I can now program the PLC. And I can work with all these. You see, it's quite many IOs. You can work with all of these. Now, here is in the tool, how do you get which input is connected to what? You need an IO list. If you hit tab, right next to Q, tab, you will open an IO list. Right? So output 00 is the conveyor forward, output 01 is the conveyor reverse, output 0.2, 0.3, 0.4 are those three green LEDs, output 05, 06, 07 are those red LEDs, and then we have output 1.0 is this cylinder, 2.0 is this cylinder, 3.0 is this cylinder. Then we have inputs. The first button here is connected to I00. This one is I0.1. Then we have sensors. This one is I1.0. Wait, where are they? Green conveyor buttons. I have not put in the sensors. I forgot the sensors, I think. Yeah, I forgot the sensors. Forgot to put in the sensors. They are... So those 4 sensors there in the back, they are connected to input 0.2 until input 0.6. So that's input 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6. Whoops there. Then we have input 1.1. Input 1.0 is this button, 2.0 is this button, 3.0 is this button. Whenever you have byte 1, it's connected, it's somehow related to the cylinder. Everything input byte 2 is somehow connected to this cylinder. Everything input byte 3 is somehow connected to this cylinder. This push button here, for example, input 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. Then we have there, you can see it, this one is active right now, the LED of the little read switch. This is input 1.2 indicating, hey, cylinder is extended. Input 2.2 is indicating cylinder 2 is extended. Input 3.1 indicating cylinder 3 is retracted. So you have this IO list, except for the sensors in the back that I forgot for some reason. You have those in here. If you hit tab, you can also deactivate it again by hitting tab again. So if you hit escape, you always get back to this room here. So yeah, to actually set this up, right, there's a couple of things that need to be done. If you are working with an S7, if you want to work with an S7 1200 or 1500, you have to, because my tool works with put get command, you have to go to your device configuration, and open up the settings down here. There is something called protection and security in the list, protection and security. And there we can scroll down a little bit, and there is something called connection mechanism, permit access with put get communication with remote partner. From the beginning on, this is deactivated. It is deactivated because it is not the safest communication method. But to be able to communicate to my tool right now, we have to use that. Put get, so the PC can use the storage of the PLC. That's point 1 that you have to do in TIA Portal. Point 2 is you have to be careful with addressing. If I have an IO module here, so I have this input module, has input address 20 to 23. This is okay, because it is, so my tool right now uses input byte 0, 1, 2, 3, 4? Yeah, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my inputs for the tool. And the hardware here has input 20 to 23. So they do not conflict. If you put in your hardware configuration here, also input 0, 1, 2, or 3, they will have a conflict. They will be overwriting each other. Like in reality, that's a real thing that happens all the time. So if I, for example, go down to 0 here, right? I put down byte address 0. Those are inputs now. The PLC will be confused. Who is giving the signal? My simulation tool or the IO module that is connected? So I'm loading the configuration now. I'm starting the module. And now my input byte 0 will not work anymore with the simulation. You have to be careful. So you see everything here is now 0. Even if I try to get some signals, let's see, even if I try to get some signals, I can't. If I press any buttons, nothing works, right? All the sensors are deactivated. This does not work. So we have to make sure that we are not working on the same I/O addresses. So that's why I took here, I don't know what I did, I think 20. And 20 is not conflicting with my tool. Here we go, and save and download. I just realized that I have sound on. That's annoying. Good. So, yeah, those are the only 2 things. The rest will work fine, right? The rest will work fine. Of course, you have to have an IP address that is connected to your PC. You need to be able to connect to your PLC. That's how it is. So this is, for the 300, by the way, you don't have to turn on the put get access. This is automatically on for 300. That's the main difference here. So now, for those that do not have a physical PLC, which is probably most of you, let me guess, almost everyone who has a physical PLC at home. Well, I do, but most people don't. So if I now, if I now unplug the wire and if I now disconnect my PLC, this tool will almost crash, so I haven't done the programming there. So I will close that first. I now disconnect the PLC. I just pull the plug. I just pulled it, so no connection to PLC anymore. If I go to my settings, I try to ping the PLC, you will see the tool is going to crash again, not to crash, but it's going to wait, because it can't find the PLC. Because, hey, it's not there. It's just not connected. How is the simulation tool going to react on this? It can't. It just can't. It won't find it. Yeah, in the meantime, yeah, you see, no connection. Perfect. Not great. That's shit, actually. What we need to do is we need to create a PLC again. And of course, we need to. We are going to simulate it. Right? We are going to simulate it, so I will have a simulated PLC using, hey, make a guess, PLCSIM. So there's PLC. So same project here, same settings. Also put get needs to be active. Up there, I can start a simulation. Before, exclamation mark, before starting this simulation, you will need an additional tool. Because for 300s, you don't. 300s work fine without, I think. I haven't tested it. But you will need a different tool because it's not by Siemens designed to have a simulation running on the PC and to make it communicate to another tool. That's not intended by Siemens. You can do that with TIA Portal, with PLCSIM Advanced, but not with the standard version. So to make it available with the standard version, which is free, that's the huge advantage, there is a special tool. I will put the link of this in the description below. Before, exclamation mark, you start TIA Portal. So I will close my TIA Portal right now. Before you start TIA Portal, the best is even before you start, well, my tool can be open, my tool doesn't care. Before you start anything, you're booting up your PC, and the first thing you do is you start this tool called NetToPLCSIM. NetToPLCSIM translates the packets that go somewhere in the network to PLCSIM. It's a quite smart tool. I won't explain too much on it. In there, this tool, I will put a link in the description below. There's bin, and there is NetToPLCSIM. It's a tool. You have exclamation mark to run that tool with administration rights, with administrative rights. So I will right click and there is run as admin. In my case, of course, German, als Administrator ausführen. Run as admin. It will ask me, yeah, it's fine, just do it. And there it says port 102 is in use. Port 102 is the connection method of how PLCSIM, how the communication for well, if you want to communicate to a PLC, it is through port 102. This one asks you to please stop the service so that this tool can basically go in between. It's a go in between tool. So I want to stop the service, yes. And then it's stopping that service. It tries and it will say success. Yes, it's great, it worked. Right? So now this tool is running and is catching network packages that should go to the simulation, actually puts in a simulation. So I hit OK. And that's great. Now what we need to do here is we need to tell, well, go from PLCSIM to my tool. Right? So here we go, we hit add, and there we have some settings to do. You can give this any random name, that doesn't matter. Then you have a network IP address. Because you are using a simulation, this network IP address, let me zoom in a little bit. This network IP address has to be your local PC. Your local PC is called a local host and always has the IP address 127.0.0.1. This is your local PC. Right? This is your local PC. This IP address we also want to use, you can copy and paste. We also want to use this IP address in my simulation tool. So if we go back to my simulation tool here for a second. In my simulation tool, we have to go to settings and we also have to put that IP address in here, 127.0.0.1, because we want to communicate inside the PLC. This is your inside PC IP address. I save this, perfectly fine. Back to NetToPLCSIM. Zoom in. There we go. So that's the first. The second, make sure that you are using, if it says that down here, if you are using a 7-1200 or 1500, always use slot 0, rec 0 slot 1. That's what I'm going to use. And that's also what we have to set in my tool. The second thing is we need a PLCSIM address. If I click on those three dots, nothing is going to show up. Right? Nothing is going to show up. There is an error telling me, hey, it is not running. And I'm like, okay, PLCSIM is not running. That's why it can't connect to it. That makes sense. So let's start PLCSIM. Is that an idea? That's an idea. So we will need the PLCSIM address here. Therefore, I start my PLCSIM or my TIA portal. I'm starting TIA portal right now. It should show up in a minute because it usually takes some time to boot. Where is it? There it is. There is my TIA portal. I will also open the project that I have created. So you have to have a PLC, of course. Here we go. You have to have a TIA portal project. Open up. There it is. And now you see my PC is also not too strong. It's not incredibly strong. It is strong enough, but not like a hyper machine that the NASA uses. So here I can go to my PLC that I want to use, right? And now I can click on simulation. Of course, for this you have to have PLCSIM installed. That's a must. That's mandatory. I will also put a download link to that in the description below. Or I will put the link of the video where I explain how that works in the description below. So here I go to the PLC and I hit Start Simulation. The blocks contained in this project cannot be simulated with PLCSIM. That's strange. That's a general PLCSIM thing. So you can hit OK. That's fine. But I will explain you what to do if you can't just hit OK. You go to your project. You right-click and Properties. And there's the so-called protection. And there is the simulation standard-wise deactivated. You have to activate it. This makes it a little bit more unsafe, but for simulation, that's mandatory in general. So I go here, and now I can hit simulation, and you see PLCSIM will start. PLCSIM will start. That always takes a minute or two. And also my download window will start. So what I do now is I want to connect to PLCSIM. I will now try download my little software here, my little project that I have. It's already 25 minutes, way too long. I should have made 2 videos on it, but that's fine. I'm sorry if I'm talking too much. It's already late. I've just been working on my tool today, so that's why it's so late already. I'm sorry. So now we are here. Bloop. And if everything went okay, you see there's there's my PLCSIM, and there is this PLC has the address 192.168.0.101 inside my PC. So if I now go to these three dots, I hope this works because this tool sometimes doesn't really work. You sometimes need to restart your PC. So let's see. That works. And this says, hey, your network has reachable PLCs. I can use this one now, right? I could basically use both, doesn't matter. But I will take the one that I had in mind. So I hit OK. I hit OK. And now I can see this thing is floating around here. And there is one line and it says ready. All that's left to do is you have to start the server. If I hit start server, now it is running. If this says running, then PLCSIM is right now connected to my simulation tool. I hope it usually works. If not, you have to restart the PC. Sometimes it is stupid. Let's test it. In my tool, I hit ping PLC and you see connection okay. That sounds great. Let's exit. Let's go back to level selection here. And let's see if I can actually do things. I can go to my TIA portal. Bloop. TIA portal, I can go online and everything should work fine. If not, I would have to restart the PC. I hope I don't because I want to keep it one video here. So let's look in our list here. And you see in my tag table, I actually have created a watch table. In my watch table, I can now, let's turn on some LEDs, LED 2 green. Bloop. You see the second green LED came on. Let's turn on all red LEDs. Perfect. Let's extend cylinder 1 and 3. Perfect. Now I could go here and I could test everything, writing a program using the system down there. Right? So I can also inspect the system. I can press push buttons. All of this is now working really with the simulation tool and everything is working perfectly fine, I hope. Usually it does. Oh, that was a long video. It's almost half an hour. I'm sorry for talking so much. But now you have a working tool. Usually what you need to do now is you hit Alt-Tab and switch between TIA Portal and the tool itself. Because it is always in full screen. My tool always is in full screen right now. That's how it is. Good. Last thing. Last thing, if you like this and if you have any comments also, if you want anything in the software, just put a comment in the list below. Don't forget to leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe. And of course, the last thing, that's what I've always been doing the last videos. Here we go. I have created this GoFundMe, right? And a lot of people have already donated 252 euro. That's pretty great. But we can raise that number. You can raise that number. That'd be great. I put a link in the description below to my GoFundMe. And if you want to toss money at me so I can work on the software, do that. You are highly welcome. The least you can do is like the video, right? Like the video. Do not forget to subscribe. And if you have questions, if you want me to do something more in the software here, or I need motors in there, I need hydraulics, I need whatsoever, I'm working on it. And your comments and inputs are highly welcome, right? So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. So it wasn't really a Tuesday. I'm sorry, but I'm having too much fun with this, so I'm really just programming this at the time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye, and stay healthy. Bye.